Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, sellers were more dominant, and we saw a pullback all the way down to 62, which is basically the area where ES launched its upside move on Friday, and that was an area where responsive buyers were active, and we got some balancing off that zone. So at this point, heading into the open, we know that the overnight session has been more dominant, but overall, the market is still trading within Friday's range, and for the most part, Friday traded within Thursday's range. So this could be setting up for yet another directional push, but off the open, we are going to keep an eye on 63 to 64 half. This is a high volume area within the current balance, and if we start trading below it and we don't really start holding above it, but actually just start cracking below, then that could result in a pullback to 57.5 to 59.5, which at this point I don't really have a lot of confidence in, because the zone has been tested pretty well over the last couple of days, and at this point, if we continue to go down there, we could see a break below those recent lows for a test of 53 half and 48 half to 50 half, with potential to go down to 44 to 46. Now, first test of 48 half to 50 half, in the event that we do break lower, can still attract buyers. Same idea with 44 to 46, with the 42 half being a bit of a range extreme here, short term. So, 48 half to 50 halves can still be a spot where the market bounces, and same with 44 to 46. Off the open, we're going to keep an eye on 63 to 64 half to see if we're just kind of chopping and holding below it. Now, in the overnight session, NASDAQ so far has held up okay, at least compared to the other markets. And NASDAQ breaking below 4,011 would be a confirmation that the sell side is really stepping in. And, then we can get a deeper pullback and some more extended selling in NQ as well. So if you watch multiple markets, then keep an eye on NQ, and just make sure that's holding below like 4,019 to 4,021, something like that. Holding below that would at least tell you that sellers are still pretty aggressive here, and then a break below 4,011 would confirm the downside conviction. So on the upside in the S&P, we have resistance at 65.75. It's the overnight breakdown spot, where we got some acceleration to the downside, low volume node in the overnight session. Above that, we have 67 quarter to 69 quarter. This is really primary resistance, and sellers can maintain control below 67 quarter to 69 quarter. Above it, in the event that we take out initial resistance, we have some short-term resistance at 71 half to 72 half. It can be a spot where we get some rotational activity and some selling. And then finally, above that, 75 half to 77 half is a spot where sellers could be more aggressive, and we could see a little bit more of a larger rotation off that zone. But in order to even get back up here, there would have to be some pretty decent strength in the equity markets across the board. So right now, heading into the open, the main zones that are really in focus are 63 to 64 half and 67 quarter to 69 quarter. Short-term bias is bearish, but we're going to have to see how the market resolves this high volume area in order to really kind of confirm our bias at this point, because the market's already sold off quite a bit, and at this point we just want to make sure that we get some decent location off the open, or we see some pretty good momentum on the downside if we're going to hop on board, because if we continue to chop here, really the market can go either way. It can either kind of resolve this balance and put in a directional move to the downside, or it can resolve this balance and bounce back up towards initial resistance and 71 half to 72 half, and eventually maybe even 75 half to 77 half. But right now the short-term bias is bearish, and in order for us to flip our bias to go on the upside, we would have to see some decent momentum come into the market. We'd have to see buyers step in a pretty aggressive way at the 63 64 half. But unless that happens, the focus is going to be more on shorting pops into resistance, or if 63 breaks, with some high momentum and volume, then even getting on board the short side for a move down towards 53.5 and 48.5 to 50.5. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see whether the sellers can maintain control this morning, and we'll take it from there.